Tomorrow will be the end of Idul Adha. Idul Adha is a festival of sacrifice where Muslims sacrifice animals. They believe Abraham did it, so now they do it. They sacrifice lamb, goat, camel, cow, because they believe Abraham was sacrificing an animal instead of his son. Now they are doing the same thing. Sadly, due to problems in Quran, well, number one, Quran lacks detail, has no details at all. And secondly, Quran has no chronology. Due to these two problems, Muslims do not understand what the story was about. And secondly, they don't know that it was not Ishmael who was going to be sacrificed, because the Quran doesn't give names of the son who was going to be sacrificed. And also, the problem, like I said, it came from the chronology. Let me show you Surah As-Safat, verse 100 to 112. Let us read it together. I know it's a little long, but please bear it with me. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous. So we gave him good tidings of a forbearing boy. And when he reached with him the age of exertion, he said, O my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. So see what you think. He said, O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me, if Allah wills, of the steadfast. And when they had both submitted, and he put him down upon his forehead, we called to him, O Abraham, you have fulfilled the vision. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good. Indeed, this was the clear trial. We ransomed him with a great sacrifice, and we left for him favorable mention among later generations. Peace upon Abraham. Indeed, we thus reward the doers of good. Indeed, he was of our believing servants, and we gave him good tidings of Isaac, a prophet from among the righteous. When you read this passage like that, you will think there's a son he was going to sacrifice, and then Allah or God gave him Isaac. And like I mentioned in my other videos, the problem with Quran is not only the chapters. Zayd ibn Thabit didn't know which chapter came first, so he just arranged it from the longest to the shortest. And secondly, and most importantly, not only the chapters, also the verses. The verses also not in order. That's why when you read Quran, it's all over the place. There's no end, there's no beginning. You don't know where it ends. It just, and then so many verses are actually repeated several times, up to maybe 7 times or many times. Because Zayd ibn Thabit, under the supervision of Abu Bakr, even Abu Bakr, they didn't know anything about Quran. And this what mislead Muslims today in understanding the story and in understanding who was the son. Although many Muslim scholars understand this and they admit it was Isaac who was supposed to be sacrificed instead of Ishmael. But the majority of Muslim scholars still say it is Ishmael. And that's the problem with the chronology of the Quran, the problems it creates. Now, if we rearrange the verses in a correct order or chronology, then the passage will be very different. Let me try this. We will read verse 100 and then 101 and then 112 and then go to 102. Let us try that way. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous. So we gave him good tidings of a forbearing boy. Now we go to 112. And we gave him good tidings of Isaac, a prophet from among the righteous. Now we go back to 102. Then when the boy reached with him the age of exertion, he said, O my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. So see what you think. He said, O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me if Allah wills of the steadfast. You see, now if we read it in that order, you will see it was Isaac who was going to be sacrificed. Let's do it one more time because this is very important. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous. So we gave him good tidings of a forbearing boy. We gave him good tidings of Isaac, a prophet from among the righteous. And when he reached with him the age of exertion, he said, O my son, indeed I have seen in a dream that I must sacrifice you. So see what you think. He said, O my father, do as you are commanded. You will find me, if Allah wills, of the steadfast. Not only we can understand better who was going to be sacrificed, but also when we read it, actually it flows better. Am I not right? This is also one more thing I want to mention here. Verse 102 is not in the Bible. In the Bible, Abraham just took him for the sacrifice, going with two servants. Right? So this part is not in the Bible. And one thing is, now we can understand if the chronology, how important the chronology is. If only Quran had chronology, then probably everything will be much clearer. Another thing I want to show you, when you read the Bible, it's much simpler. In many ways, it's much simpler. Not always, but a lot of times it's very straightforward. Let us take a look, Genesis chapter 16, verse 16. Abraham was 86 years old when Hagar bore him Ishmael. Now we go to Genesis chapter 21, verse 5. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. When we read chapter 16 and 21, we can easily understand, okay, the difference between Ishmael and Isaac is 13, 14 years. That's the difference, right? It's very simple. But it is not like that with Quran. And another thing, Quran also doesn't tell this part. It is actually a very important part. Let us take a look. Genesis 22, verse 7. Isaac spoke up and said to his father Abraham, Father, yes, my son. Abraham replied, the fire and the wood are here. Isaac said, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering? So now Isaac asked, do you remember what Abraham said? In verse 8, Abraham answered, God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son. And the two of them went on together. And this is where um, I think the most important part of the story, the faith of Abraham, that God somehow will provide. And Muslims do not see this, right? Because it doesn't really, the story doesn't tell in a very detailed manner. That's why they don't understand. And of course, earlier I mentioned the age of Abraham when Ishmael was born, when Isaac was born. Now, on Google, if you type like this, like, how old was Ishmael when Abraham sent him away according to Islam? AI Overview has answer for that. Because AI is very smart, right? It says, in Islamic tradition, Ismail was approximately 14 years old when Abraham sent him away. If we read the Bible, Ismail was about 17 years old because Isaac was already born. He was about 3 years old or 2 years old, and Ismail made fun of him, and Sarah got mad. I'm sure you remember the story if you're a Christian. And then, if you type on Google, how old was Ibrahim when Ishaq was born in Quran? Again, the genius AI says, according to the Quran, Abraham was 100 years old when his son Ishaq, Isaac, was born. The birth of Ishaq is also mentioned in the book of Genesis, chapter 21, verse 5, confirming the Quranic account of Ibrahim's age at the time. When you read this AI, you will assume, if you don't know anything about Quran, you will assume that Quran mentioned the age of Ibrahim, right? Now, let me show you one more thing. I type Ibrahim was 100 years old in Quran. AI overview answers, yes, Abraham is stated to have been 100 years old when his son Isaac was born in the Quran, as well in the Bible. This event is mentioned in verses of the Quran, such as Surah Hud, which is chapter 11, verse 69 to 70, and Surah Safat, chapter 37, verse 99 to 100. Is that true? Let us check. Surah Safat, verse 99 to 100. Let us read. And he said, indeed, I will go to where I am ordered by my Lord, he will guide me. My Lord, grant me a child from among the righteous. Do you see anything about his age? Because I don't. Now, let us check with the other one. Surah Hud, Quran chapter 11, verse 69 to 70. Let us read. Here you go. And certainly did our messengers come to Abraham with good tidings. They say, peace. He said, peace, and did not delay in bringing them a roasted calf. When he saw hands not reaching for it, he distrusted them and felt from their apprehension. They said, fear not, we have been sent to the people of Lot. Now, I ask the same question. Do you see anything about his age? Because I don't. But why AI is lying? I don't know who's feeding the information to AI, but I'm sure AI will go to hell for lying. Anyway, so now with this Idul Adha, you can see the problems with Quran. The chronology creates a lot of problems. The details, lack details, creates a lot of problems. Big problem. And plus, a lot of Muslims are not being honest. Even when they're feeding the AI with informations, it is not an honest, it is not an honest information they give, because it is very clear here. You can see it yourself in front of, on your screen. According to the Quran, Ibrahim was 100 years old. But if you read the Quran from front to back, from back to front, upside down, doesn't matter how you read it, you will not see any information about Abraham's age. You will not see who, which son he was going to sacrifice. There's no name. This is the problem. Anyway, that's all from me for tonight. Thank you for watching and listening. Whether you believe it was Ishmael who was supposed to be sacrificed or Isaac. God bless you all. Have a nice life.